probably wondering what all of those items have in common. Some of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Pringles. What you may not know is that Pringles were designed with the can in mind to create rockets. One other item specifically designed for rockets, and only rockets, is Mountain Dew. The top of the bottle is perfect for aerodynamic loads on a nose cone. Who would have thought? This project starts out a couple years ago where I found myself in possession with 8 or 9 of these Estes E98 rocket motors. And I've had them for 2 or 3 years now and never really had a chance to use them or any projects to put them on. Well, tomorrow we are going out to launch rockets. I recently moved to Colorado and there's a launch site 20 minutes away. So we have something like 14 hours to build a rocket that is ready to fly. So let's get to it. So the first thing that we are going to need to do is empty out both Pringles cans, because like it or not, the chips are not fantastic for rockets. They do make a good launch snack though. Now we have 6 of these E-motors, and we're going to attempt a cluster. Now these are notorious for being hard to light at the same time, and I anticipate that we'll have similar struggles tomorrow. However, it's worth a shot, right? Whatever happens will be fantastic. Now, if I had 7, I could make a really nice honeycomb shape without too much trouble. However, I only have 6, so we're going to attempt to attach these in a similar fashion without the need for a center motor. And the way I plan to do this is tape these up into 3 doubles, glue the doubles together, and then put them inside of one of the Pringles cans in order to make them hold that honeycomb shape. It just so happens that a Pringles can is 3 inches in diameter, and all of these are 24 millimeter motors, so just about an inch. It's really close, and you can just sort of hand wave that little extra bit away without too many problems. Now we have a couple different types of adhesive today. We just have super glue and some 5-minute epoxy, a Rocket Special. For these motors, I'm just going to use super glue because that's fast and easy. And for parachute attachment and fin attachment, I will be using the 5-minute epoxy just because it's really quick. I have this bag down in an attempt to keep my table clean, and we'll see how well that works. Cool. We will let that sit for a couple minutes and see how it turns out. All right, now that we're waiting for the motors to cure together, we dumped out the Mountain Dew because again, we don't need the liquid inside. We're only interested in the bottle. Now I have 2 Pringles cans here. And the idea is that one is the rocket and the other becomes the fins. So in order to properly measure out the fins, we have our trusty meter stick. Ignore that top part. So it looks like we have just shy of 9 inches to work with, and we're going to want 6 fins. So doing some quick maths. Looks like we have 1.4 inch long fins, and we'll need 6 of them. Now we'll approximate that as 1 1/4 so that I don't over measure this, because I'm not great at this calibration. And look at that, we have our beautifully marked lines. And we can cut those out right now. We got a beautiful hacksaw from Home Depot, and we're going to use this to cut everything. All right, we now have our aerospace grade fins, and if you count them, it looks like we actually have 7, so I'm just absolutely terrible at math. Now this seems like a good time to explain some of the other things we got. So we have roofing tar. That's really an asphalt-based sealant. We have spray foam. This is some of the higher density stuff, which is not exactly what I wanted, but that'll work. And then we have some very nice, colorful acrylic yarn. You might notice that we don't have rail buttons. We will be getting those tomorrow because the only rails here are high power rails. So that's exciting. Now this asphalt-based sealant, roofing tar, makes really good igniters for larger engines and rockets. So what we're going to do is mix about a 40 to 60% weight AP and this, and that should give us a nice hot burn and reliably light these black powder motors. All right, now we're going to measure out about 2 meters of this yarn, and this is going to act sort of like our parachute shock cord, and connect our parachute to the rocket and to the nose cone. So that looks like it's about 2.5 maybe, good enough. I went ahead and cut the Mountain Dew off in half. Cut the Mountain Dew bottle in half. This slides right over the Pringles can, you can see here. And we have a lot of excess to work with, just in case we make mistakes, when we make mistakes. The next step is to drill a hole in the bottle cap. We're going to tie the parachute line off to this. Easy peasy. Now we're going to pull the line through and knot it and then super glue it in place. Alright, here we are. Nice little knot on the yarn, if it'll focus. And some super glue there to keep it in place. Before we fill this up with however much spray foam we need to make the rocket stable. We'll probably just eyeball it. We're not really doing math here, let's be honest. It's actually been a couple hours. I touched some of the super glue just to see, how it cured, if it'll focus. And it doesn't seem like it's all dry. So what we're gonna do, where are you focusing? We're gonna put some fillets of the 5-minute epoxy on there and, just send it. Pretty sure you're supposed to break that off so that you can actually push the plunger down. Honestly, I have no idea. We're just winging it, so. Get it nice and mixed up. And then just apply it liberally. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, give or take, a couple minutes. We have our nose cone outside with some of that high density foam up in the cap while we wait. And that should give us a nice solid nose cone. Here we are, next day. Had to skip forward a little bit, kind of ran out of time. I ran out of epoxy to do really nice fillets on these, so, it should hold. We'll see. The last thing we need to do is attach the parachute lines to the rocket and then name it. Alright, so I want to rough up, I don't know if you can see, I want to rough up this a little bit because it was, full of chips, a bit oily. And we only do things professionally here, so we want to make sure there's a good seal, good contact with the epoxy and the string. And just like that, we're out of epoxy. Got a good clump there. Oh, this looks so bad. Alright, I think that's the best we can do. It looks absolutely terrible. Come on. Guess we let that sit for a little bit and then come back to it. We are actually out of time, gotta head to the launch site, so I just put some tape there, try to hold that in place. hopefully get a good cure, not lose the beautiful vehicle here.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso. Yeah, that way.
And we've named it Picasso because this is an art project of sorts. If you work with me and you see this, I promise this is not what I designed at work. All right, we'll see you at the launch site. Everything goes. He asks, is this going on the internet? What do we do life for? It's for the internet. Bryce, come back here.
Wait, hold on. Let's get something.
Oh, he's getting something. He's back now. Hold on, there's the launch. Oh, that was beautiful. That was so straight. Deployment, and it's good. Nice. Good day out here. All right, we are at the launch site, as you can probably tell. With me is...
Bryce logging?
He's kind of cool, I guess. Well,
Maybe.
what are your thoughts on Picasso here?
I think it's mildly cursed. I think that's an apt description.
Mildly cursed. We're gonna see if this cluster can't work, and maybe we'll recover it. Stay tuned.
Okay, Pringles.
All right, we got Picasso on the rail. Let's see how it goes.
That's
Yeah, it's an art project.
Okay, it's our project. I'm not sure I have gotten a picture of that one. Let's see what's going to happen with Picasso.
The moment of truth. Here we go.
It is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, that was getting pretty exciting. Hello, valued viewers. I just wanted to take a moment and talk about a couple things. So, this project is obviously a bit thrown together. I didn't do very much math. Clearly, I think the only math I did was for the fins, and I did that wrong. So, it's very important to note that I did get the okay from the range safety officer. That's very important. And where I'm at, fires are a real concern. So, after launch, when all the rockets of that day came down, we sort of found it, made sure that there weren't any hot spots. It's just very important to be, cognizant of your surroundings and do things safe. The launch rail was pointed kind of far away from us, almost 10 degrees, just to make sure that anything random, asymmetric thrust, some sort of failure didn't send it our way. So it's very important to note that, you do things safely. This hobby is not a right, it's a privilege. So, treat it like such. Thanks.
2, 1.
Oh. You burned
And
something.
it popped.
All right, take 2.
Take 2. Going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa!
All right, wow, that was a bit crazy. So let's kind of talk about what happened. As I said earlier, I didn't really do any math for this. The dimensions for the tube rocket were quite a bit off. There were some standards that honestly I didn't know about that people use, but the thrust to weight was fine. All the motors lit, as you can see here, so I'd count that as quite a win. But what ultimately caused the unstable flight was the fins were a bit flimsy. So if I were to ever do this again or recommend it to anyone else, make sure the fins are not flimsy. You want stable aero surfaces. So anyway, cheers.